We're now being joined by Jennifer Ewing, spokesperson for Republicans Overseas UK. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining me here on the broadcast. How well do you feel Trump has used this period as president-elect? We're hours away from the official inauguration, but the period of time from the 6th of November leading up till the 20th of January, what does that say about what's to come forward?
Well, I think the number one thing it says is that he listened to what the people who put him in office wanted him to do. You know, the main issues that you heard over and over again for the last few years were to fix the economy, number one, and number two, to get our southern border under control again. And so, indeed, that's what he's going to be focusing on. Siobhan, you mentioned, you know, up to 200 executive orders that would be signed immediately. There's even talk that he won't leave the rotunda and go back to the White House, that he'll sign some of those just sitting right there. I imagine those ones will be surrounding the border, probably putting back into place many of the ones in which Biden, on this very day that he was inaugurated 4 years ago, you know, erased. So things like remain in Mexico and, you know, rebuilding the border wall. So I think he's done a great job with regards to since he's been elected and to this day. We can also see that in foreign policy. We know that he's been having conversations with leaders around the world, you know, whether that be regarding the Russia-Ukraine situation. Obviously, we saw the results with what's happened in the Middle East over the last couple of days. China, you know, we've got a high-level dignitary coming from China to the inauguration, which is something fairly unheard of. So, yeah, he got to work straight away to follow the people's mandate.
I hear you. Jennifer, you mentioned China. Let me just take a little further from there. Xi Jinping was invited and Keir Starmer, as per reports, was not invited. Let me just draw out a few more reports, what they're suggesting. The UK Prime Minister not been invited, and this comes among reports suggesting that Trump is also considering, as per sources, to reject Peter Mandelson as Starmer's nominee for US ambassador. An almost unprecedented move if that happens. It's going to be a huge diplomatic insult. Do you foresee any irritants in the UK and US ties going further? How smooth will it be for Keir Starmer's government to work with Trump 2.0?
Well, you're very well informed. And look, as somebody that lives in London and has lived here for 20 years, it's my adopted home, I want the so-called special relationship from the United States and the United Kingdom to endure. And I think it will. It's bigger than whoever's in office at the time. However, there have been, you know, some frosty situations with regards to Keir Starmer himself and, of course, some of his cabinet members, David Lammy in particular, and the idea of Lord Mandelson, who he wants to put forth as the ambassador. You know, fine, they've said some not very nice things about Trump, but so have a lot of other people. Trump can be forgiving. Trump is a pragmatist. I don't think if Mandelson doesn't get through, the reason will be what he's said about Trump. I think the reason will be is that Washington is a much different place that perhaps Mandelson will not fit into. Trump is creating a Washington for the people, a real populist, America First Washington, rather than one that had been full of sort of, you know, DC lifetimers, the DC state elites, that sort of thing. So I think there probably are better choices for a United Kingdom ambassador to the US than Peter Mandelson.
Jennifer Ewing, thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast. You offer an insightful, you know, reasoning and answer to the questions that I posed to you. Thank you so much, and always a pleasure speaking with you. Look forward to having you on the
Thanks
broadcast.
Thanks for having
again.
me.